Hello, and welcome to Table of Geequals. Spoiler alert, no bitching. I am your host, PigMonkey.
I'm your other host, Alex.
And today with us we have Josh.
Hello.
And Sean.
Hello.
From the Classy Nads podcast.
Indeed we are.
John, Ryan, and I have been on a couple of times.
Yeah, we sit around, get kind of drunk.
Yeah.
Swear a lot.
Oh, we don't do that kind of thing.
No,
on
we
this
don't.
show.
No.
We don't.
Guys,
we don't
come on.
Swear.
Class
Come
it
on.
up.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll keep it down.
And
over
when
here.
we do drink, it's with our pinkies in the air.
Yeah, well, that's just a given.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us on board.
Oh, glad to have you here. What's new and geeky in your life?
Yeah, I could talk about the Modern Masters, I guess, like you
Okay.
suggested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of the recent Magic set Wizards released. It's basically a draft set basically, featuring like a lot of staple cards from the modern format. Like
okay.
cards over the last 10 years. Magic has been around for about 20 years. So
I've been there from the beginning.
Yeah, well, I did too, but I stopped.
Yeah, a lot of people quit after like 98. Didn't come back for years.
I was a kid when I started, and I wasn't old enough to take it seriously.
Yeah.
Now I'm old enough to take it seriously,
No,
so
it's
I've
And now
serious
you
business.
should. Now you should.
super serious.
You should know not to take it seriously.
Well, anyway, whatever.
You're old enough
That's
to know.
really offensive, Pig Monkey.
I am fine.
It's the most
Good.
serious
You know, is it
thing.
more offensive than me slapping in your mouth with my cock?
Slightly less.
Oh, okay, good.
Slightly less.
They're close, though.
I thought we
Close.
didn't have that kind of talk here.
No.
You lied.
You
No,
two. You two don't have
Oh,
that.
we
Oh,
have
okay.
Oh, okay.
You earn that.
It's a privilege.
That's right. Not a
So
right.
what's the Modern Masters? Is that like a draft tournament or?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a combination of. Well, you do whatever. Like you can buy a box and just crack all the packs if you want, and have yourself a time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was originally conceived of as a way to get more people into Modern.
Yeah.
And Modern it starts at 8th edition,
yeah.
and it's up until
Modern
now.
is the format.
Yeah.
Just so
Yeah.
like,
I think
you
yeah.
guys really know a lot about Magic. You work in it and you guys play it all
Yeah.
the time. If there are people who are listening,
So
they're going to turn us off.
Magic the Gathering is a card game, obviously.
Yes.
Zero suggestions.
It's
I love it.
Basically, the game's been around for 20 years, as you were saying,
Yep.
and there's many different formats. And the reason that it's divided into different formats is because there's so many fucking sets and even
Cards.
many cards,
There's,
even
what,
more cards.
15,000 different cards?
Yeah,
Roughly, yeah.
so the strategies are infinite. And
Yeah.
I mean, depending on which format you're playing, there's banned lists, there's cards that you can play, can't play.
Yeah.
There's certain combinations that are or aren't allowed. And it's just, Modern is one of those formats.
Yeah.
And one of the complaints,
Go ahead.
one of the complaints about Modern is because it spans such a long period of time, and it's a relatively new format, one of the complaints is that to get those really good cards that a lot of people want to play was getting really difficult.
Yeah.
So Wizards came out with this Modern Masters set, which is 249 cards, re-released, giving people an opportunity to get those cards.
Yeah.
An interesting side note, kind of
At an increased price.
Yes. Oh, yeah. They're very expensive. The packs. Interestingly enough, some of the like the most expensive card in the set, Termagoyf, was selling at about 120, 130 before Modern Masters came out.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying like, "Oh, when this set comes out, my Termagoyfs are going to be worth like $75. It's going to suck." All Termagoyfs are sitting at like 150 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they-
well,
because
this is what
it's gotten more people into it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is my major problem with that's what I feel about Modern. What it did was it made a new format which upped the prices of all the cards that have cycled out. Right, all the cards because I don't play Tournament because it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
When you're playing with those three sets that are Tournament.
Standard.
yeah.
Standard game. Those, except for the very common ones, are very, very expensive. And then once the set cycles out, the prices dropped. They became more reasonable to get a hold of because
For casual play.
nobody
Yeah.
wanted. Well, that's all I played. I've only well, no, I didn't only ever play casual. I stopped playing competitively after Ice Age because after Ice Age they told me there were cards I wasn't allowed to use.
Yeah, they
and
started banning things.
you weren't allowed to make a 40 card deck. You had to make a 60 card deck, and I went, fuck you! I'm done with you bastards, and I stopped playing. I stopped playing competitively and just started making really nasty decks and beating up my friends.
So then my question is, as a casual player, why not just use proxies? Like, why not just pretend that you have a Termagor?
The problem now, I don't use proxies because I've been collecting since '93. Right? There's no point in using proxies.
So if you want to use a Termagor in a deck, you have to have a Termagor.
I won't bother.
No, but like, if.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
But the whole point of it is, the whole point of your Magic collection is that the theory is that you are supposed to be a planeswalker, and these are the spells that you've gathered over your travels. Now, my spell list is vast.
Expensive.
Is very expensive. I have a lot of cards that you
I was
just...
checking out his collection
I
the other
made
day.
him cry the other night.
He had like unsleeved dual lands from Unlimited. They're like worth hundreds, and I'm like, or close to it at least. And I'm like cringing.
Just
like
sitting there
I play
crying.
with them.
They're
Like
not.
I've always played with my cards.
Yeah.
So there is.
I feel like cards and collections could be a word that we're using in place of another word right now. It's kind of fun if you listen to it in that vein.
Fair
Why?
enough.
What word are you thinking?
Penis.
Okay.
I have a very large
Expensive
penis.
penis.
I have a very. It's a very.
And I like
gilded-
to
and
play
I've
with
been
it.
collecting my penis since 1993.
Okay, it doesn't work
It's
all
that
the
big.
time.
No, it does because I gather it in a bundle, and every night it tries to crawl away.
And then he unleashes it on people.
Yeah.
Beats up his friends.
Destroying. Kind of lost the point there.
What? Do we derail that train?
So yeah, you've been playing Modern.
yeah.
How's that going?
Sean's a little obsessed with Modern. He's given up all other avenues of Magic now.
Yeah.
How much is it uncouth for me to ask how much you've sunk into Modern Masters so far?
I've drafted it 5 times.
Wow. So that's
Well, it's
Gotta
$30
be
bucks.
175.
About $30 each time.
Yeah.
Well, I traded some cards in and stuff too. Like
That's just
save
it, though.
myself a bit,
Every once
but
in a while, Modern Masters, you can just crack a pack and the rare in there. You're like, well, that just paid for the last 3 weeks.
It happened to you the other day.
Yeah.
Pulled
Yeah.
a
The very first Modern Masters draft I went into, I opened a pack and got Dark Confidant, which is worth $80 right now. And I was
Nice.
like, well, that paid for that.
Yeah, it's only worth $80 if you have somebody who's going to pay $80.
Oh,
for
and
it.
there is people
Oh, it's
who
people-
desperately want it.
I think it's 60 now, isn't it?
Nope, it's $80. I
Maybe,
just
yeah.
checked it.
That's
Anyway.
that's a big problem for me with that's my big issue is that they are cardboard.
Wizards.
I
that
will
goes-
not put more value on a piece of paper than the fact that it is a piece of paper. It bothers me that, it's great that I've got a bunch of cards that I can probably sell for, I don't know, a lot of money.
Hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds of dollars. It's nice to have that. However, I want to play with them. I like to play with people. I like getting my ideas and go, oh, and I put this deck together and then get stomped by Sean. But
Sorry about that.
no, it's okay. That's how the game is played.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a game that's that vast, when you're looking at decks that are made to win on turn 3,
Yeah.
where's the fun in playing the game?
Yeah.
You're just looking for that special combination of cards, the most efficient combination of cards that is statistically calculable.
Yeah.
At that point, why not just have a pair of computers play your deck?
But that's
There's
your
more to it.
That's your style. I mean, some people like that. They like that. They get super competitive about it, and it's just like
That's why.
I
That's
will
the
win.
other reason why I
Like-
stopped playing against shakers. People who are holding their cards in their hand and they're coming close to winning, and they start to shake.
And their faces go.
They go
Yeah.
red, and if they lose, they scream at you.
Flip the table.
I think like part of the problem is like you're judging it based on how your casual decks do against other people's competitive decks. Like if you had a competitive deck, it wouldn't be like turn 3 win, turn 3 or 4 win every time. Like when I play against competitive decks, sometimes it goes to turn 8, 9, 10 because their deck is built to slow mine down or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's you're on an even playing field, and sometimes that it's a back and forth that goes.
And then,
you both have really powerful decks that work well against each other.
There's the different styles too, right? If you build what they call an aggro deck, which is just small, fast creatures constantly attacking with very little strategy involved, it's going to be a turn 4 strategy because you're either going to be dead on turn 4 or they're going to be dead. So the games are super quick, and same with the combo. You're looking for a combo. If the combo goes off, it goes off. Otherwise, you get your head smashed in.
Yeah, there's slow decks that you can play that are designed to drag the game out if you prefer that style.
That's actually what I would do.
One of our favorite guys to follow on the internet who plays a lot of Magic, Travis Wu, he likes to play really complex, weird rogue decks, but the most recent one he's made is he calls it Complex Dredge, and Dredge is a mechanic where you pull things out of your graveyard and fiddle around with them when you're supposed to draw cards. And he's designed this entire deck about dragging each match out to time. The whole point of the deck is he sits there and does so much stuff constantly doing stuff, and you just sit there and do nothing, and then the match gets called to time, and he controls the board state and wins. And he says he's never had more people rage quit, or just like he's just sitting there doing stuff, and 6 minutes later they just quit the match because they're just like,
so
yeah,
that's the kind of shit that drives me crazy.
Yeah,
I don't play Magic.
Yeah, but you work in the middle of it. You have no choice but to know a lot about it. You've intentionally been quiet this whole time going, I don't want to talk about Magic.
No, because it's my job to know
know.
things and do things. Like, I sort... Okay, you want to talk about Magic? Let's talk about Magic.
Oh,
okay?
God.
You know what? I appreciate how fun it is. I used to play, okay? Yes, I used to have a lot of fun sorting decks. I used to have a lot of fun sorting my cards and all that BS. The next person who tells me how much fun it must be sorting cards all day
you're gonna hit them over the head.
might get an earful because it's one thing when it's your cards.
Yeah.
When it's your cards and you're sorting and you're like, and you're flipping through it and you're like, I
forgot I had this.
I just thought of a great combination that I can do here. I'm gonna build a deck around this. This is great. I remember that. That was a lot of fun. When you have Monday, I had 23,000 Magic cards on the counter at work that I was sorting.
Jesus.
That would not be
That's
fun.
not fun.
No, that would not be
And
fun.
I tried, and people say, oh, that looks like so much fun. I'd be like, and I try to like lightheartedly say, no, it's different when it's your cards. It's different when
Dude,
it's
you need to Tom Sawyer that shit. Just like charge them to sort cards for you. Well, yeah, it's great fun, but I've only so much stuff, and I've got real work I've got to do. But I'll tell you what, if you pay me like $5, I'll let you sort through these.
But then you'd have to stand there and watch them, otherwise there'd be cards going up their
here's
sleeves.
the other issue. The other issue. Like, I have a system.
Oh, and it's your system.
And like, actually, the other people who work with me, like, they've been really good at helping me, and I don't want to say that I'm doing everything because they do a lot. And I really appreciate the work they do. But like, to just find some random person to help me with this, like, the amount of work that I put into making sure that things are organized, it hurts me. I think I'm having a heart attack. Like,
Right now. You put a lot of time into that shit.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Magic.
That's Magic.
Again, I appreciate how much fun it must be for you guys. Like, when I see people opening up a pack, like,
and their eyes just...
I remember doing that with with Magic a long time ago, and I remember doing it with like the Spider-Man trading cards, like
Star
the
Wars
smell,
trading cards.
the smell. Like, when you really love something, you open that pack. There's a smell.
Oh, there is. There totally
And
is. It's that vacuum seal.
Yeah. It's
I got it back with hockey cards when I was a kid.
Oh,
the
yeah.
card smelled like the gum.
Yeah.
They put.
I
in
remember that.
in the pack, and that was that. Like, even the hockey card pack smell, the new pack smell, is actually a smell that they try to put in cars. They've
my
awesome.
thing was, and it reminds me of my best friend growing up, because he and I used to go and spend our allowance on this every week. The second we got our allowance, the Fleer Ultra 1995 Spider-Man cards.
Okay.
As well as the 1994 set as well. We used to go every week. Here's $5, get our pack, open it up. Like, if anybody ever wants to do an amazing thing for me, give me a pack of one of those. as like a present. Like that is the best gift that I think
The
somebody
Fleer
could give.
Ultra.
Fleer Ultra, Spider-Man, like 94, 95, 96 even. Like I have such an emotional connection to those because that friend is no longer with us, and it's just like it's
That's
all
what
these
you do.
childhood memories, and it's like, but I can see that in people who are playing Magic.
Yeah.
You know, like especially with this Modern Masters set. I mean, I've had kids come in, you know, their parents being 12, you know, like that's
How much for a pack?
Well, we had them on for 10.
For a single pack.
And now they're up to 12, is it?
I think so.
Yeah,
Depends on the store, really.
yeah, if you can find them.
But
Yeah.
they're
Well, they're all
expensive.
gone now, I think,
Well,
pretty
no,
much.
we still have a few at the at the store, but it's, you know, then that kid buys the pack and he sees, like, you know, he gets like you got a Bob, a Dark Confident.
Yeah.
You know, I bought my first Magic pack in 4 years, and I got a foil Dark Confident.
Yeah.
You know, like that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, but it's I don't know. I get it, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. Especially when it's like anything when you're on the other side of the counter, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think what I'm taking from this is that I just should never work in a, you know, card shop or whatever.
That's not true though. Like a lot of people who are around it all day, they still love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just it was never my passion.
Okay.
I've had to learn a lot about it, and I certainly understand a lot of it. Don't ask me how to build a deck. Every day somebody comes in and asks me, like, is this a good combination?
good skill to have.
I think about it. I like, maybe.
I'm not going to say no.
I don't play enough to tell you.
Like
But yes,
I can tell you the
it's
values
a great
of cards.
thing to buy.
Yeah.
I can tell you the values of cards. I can tell you like all sorts of stuff, just not
how to play.
how
Fair
to play.
enough.
Well, I can teach people how to play, not well.
The basics.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Well,
fair enough.
YouTube can teach them how to play.
YouTube can teach you anything. Yeah, so I guess
What are you doing?
my hands are still shaking, like I was saying to you earlier before we started this, because I cannot wait to see Pacific Rim this Friday, which is Guillermo del Toro's newest film. He's, you know, director from Pan's Labyrinth, and he did the Hellboy movies, and I think he did Blade 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he did Blade, I thought.
Was it Blade 1 or 2?
I can't
There's probably 2 because Ron Perlman was in that one. And they're
They're
attached at the hip.
BFFs.
Attached at the hip. I didn't even know Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman was in the first one as well.
Nope.
No, he wasn't.
He was Hellboy.
Oh no!
No,
Sorry, I thought
we're
we
talking about Blade.
Blade.
Oh,
He was in Blade 2, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I think Guillermo del Toro did that one.
Sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, he so he's made this film Pacific Rim. If anyone hasn't seen the trailer, you know,
Wow.
go
yeah,
watch
he
it
did
immediately.
do Blade 2.
Yeah,
Crazy. Looking back on it, yeah, that's totally. It has his feel.
yeah,
It
yeah.
really does.
Which is like it, not as good as Blade 1, unfortunately.
Yeah, I really like the
Yeah. But not as bad as Blade 3.
Okay.
Spider-Man 3
Third
is worse.
movies. No, third movies are the curse.
Most of the time,
comic
yeah.
books with like mostly comic book movies.
Yeah,
They're-
X-Men was a tragedy. Spider-Man was a tragedy. Blade 3 was a tragedy.
So what we're saying is, based on the performance and like how disappointing Fantastic Four's 1 and 2 were, if they were to do a third movie,
Yeah.
It would
the
kill the
universe would
franchise.
collapse. The
No,
universe
it
would collapse.
Yeah, it would.
Galactus would actually come out of a comic book and suck the entire existence of Fantastic
yeah.
Four into the negative zone. That's
From our conscious, our collective
I'm okay
conscious.
with that.
I'm actually
I'll be all right with that.
Can they take
now,
Jessica Alba too? Like,
instead of a third Fantastic Four, they're rebooting it now, though. So
Oh, well then that's
instead of making more shitty movies,
Yeah.
can't they just give it back to Marvel?
yeah, that's
Seriously.
just it. They just won't let it go. They Marvel argued and finally got Daredevil back. But
It'll be good.
yeah, it'll be good for sure. But like, why are they just desperately holding on to Daredevil and Fantastic Four? Like, just give it back. You can't do any better. And everyone who's seeing the movie is just going to be sitting there going, why didn't they just give it back to Marvel?
But
Like,
that's why I maintain, if you want Marvel to get the rights back to these films,
don't go see it.
go see it.
don't
Yeah,
see
well,
it.
yeah, absolutely.
But it doesn't change the fact that our main point is that Pacific Rim.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, derail.
No, man. I would love to talk Marvel and comic books, I do it. But we're
think we
talking
do it
about
every week.
giant robots.
That's
here.
right.
And I am uniquely, like, for a person with severe attention deficit that I have, when we talk about giant robots, I am uniquely focused.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing else in this world that's why I love MechWarrior so much, man.
Yeah.
I can't Mech Warrior Online. It's just that's it.
Giant mechs are your jam.
You know what? I don't need another game. As
Yeah.
long as that is there, nothing will. I only need to have large cannons shooting at giant robots.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
This is also the first time.
It's my Soma.
This is also the first time I think we're going to see a Cthulhu-esque full-on monster on screen.
Really? I've seen their monsters. They look more like Zilla from the American Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
They're less impressive.
We haven't seen them all though. Like,
No.
these
Are
are
they
probably
different?
These
Are
are
they
Yeah,
all
just,
different?
there's like 8 different monsters.
These are probably like Cthulhu's
Children.
minions,
Yeah.
lesser gods of chaos and madness.
They come from under the sea.
They're probably I know it's not Cthulhu because then
No,
it would be
he's-
H.P. Lovecraft. But
yeah.
And there would be would be all sorts of rights going, lawyers sending letters back and forth. You know
They're
what
just
happens
Cthulhu-esque.
when movie studios get sued? Lawyers get rich.
Yeah.
That's about it.
you know what's really good about this movie though? Apparently Tom Cruise was considered for a part.
Yeah.
And it went to Idris Elba instead, which
Who is a far
is
superior.
amazing. Yeah.
Well, and this is I was actually watching a review for Pacific Rim on The Escapist with Movie Bob, which is really kind of interesting as the movie hasn't come out yet and Movie Bob hasn't seen it.
well, there.
But he
Preview review.
We had preview passes to go to it.
Do you have
No,
preview
we
pass?
had. It was tonight.
What,
Well, I couldn't have gone to see it then anyway.
I think it just got out. Here, let me ask Chapel how it was.
No,
don't
no,
do that. Don't do that.
No,
don't taint our view
Don't.
beforehand.
No, seriously, you will not contact me.
No, I want to know.
Season
I won't.
four.
You
Watch
won't
out.
say it. Well, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Giant
I mean-
monsters, giant robots. There is no part about giant robots. There's
See,
nothing wrong about
And there's
that.
even one.
If he replies, you don't want me to say anything.
No, not at all.
And what if I do?
Oh, what if
Okay.
you do?
Yeah, what if you do? There's one scene. From
I will mentally checklist it and wait until the next time that you are complaining about spoilers and destroy whatever it is you're talking about.
Okay, I'm not
I
asking
will
for
give you the
spoilers, but
fine-
you just watched
No,
it. You just
I
saw
will-
a review.
I didn't see a review. I told you cut me off before
Sorry,
I finished.
I do that.
So fuck you. I saw the thing with Movie Bob, and he's saying, I haven't seen it yet, but go and see it. The reason is, it's an original movie idea. Now, it's not an original movie idea. It's an original American movie idea. The Japanese have had giant robots fighting giant monsters for 50 years.
But
now,
it's an
60
original
years.
franchise.
It's an original franchise.
Yeah.
But now Movie Bob's argument is it's original, and all we've had really for the last 10 years in big movie budgets is stuff that is cartoons from the 80s and comics from the 60s.
Yeah.
Those are the big things that are getting made into movies and then rebooted
Yeah.
again.
5-10 years later.
Well, I mean, it's what everybody's saying. Hollywood's out of ideas.
Yeah.
They've got no ideas. It's not even that they're bad ideas. They see something that's going to be a sure bet. Like, there's a franchise here. There's a brand here. We can build on it. I know. Let's make Lone Ranger the movie.
Yeah.
We'll put in Johnny Depp. We'll have no problem making money.
We'll bring in that guy who directed Pirates. That went really well for us.
Yeah. And that's what we're getting. We're getting just
I think it's-
rehashed crap, and nobody's coming up with original ideas. So, project 30 years in the future, the fuck are we going to remake? The stuff that we already remade? What's Spider-Man going to look like in 2040?
Old.
No, he's still going to be the same character. He's going to
Yeah.
be the same character with better graphics. That's what it is.
Sweet.
5D.
Yeah,
Nice.
you smell-o-vision.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be able to. You'll smell the
watch
webs and what
And it
Doc
takes you
Ock
back in
smells like.
time.
And you'll stick to your chair.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any shortage of new ideas in film. It's just that they're not being like greenlit.
Yeah,
I think it's
You know why?
probably studios are more afraid to take risks.
Yeah, they
because
would.
people don't go to see them.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like when things like new things do come out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what were we talking about last week? I think that Grown Ups 2
Yes.
was getting
More
like advanced
following
following
than Pacific Rim, which is a fucking crime.
That is
so,
a crime.
A horrible sequel. Again, I haven't seen Grown Ups 2.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
Grown Ups.
people would
1.
rather see a
But
horrible sequel than
sequel
a,
to
a
a
new
horrible
great
movie.
film.
Yeah.
Than taking a chance on a visually stunning action adventure
New
monster movie with like an amazing director,
an amazing
great
cast.
cast.
Well,
Yeah.
the last time I did that, I got Cloverfield, and
Yeah.
like you get burned. You can only be burned so many times. You're like,
Your warning there should have been that it was like the found footage medium,
yeah,
It's true.
shaky cam.
yeah.
Oh, shaky cam.
Well, that and the story was like in
was a
Cloverfield.
love story.
I watched Cloverfield till halfway when they got to the building that was broken over and leaning against the other building. She's in there. At that point, I would have gone, you know what? Bitch is dead.
Yeah.
I'm making a beeline for the country.
That's when you got to make strategic decisions.
Yeah, there's like, okay, I can go after the woman in there, or I've got 5 friends who are following me into a building, and I am going to be responsible for them dying.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to be responsible for, like, some kind of alien exploding out of their guts.
Yeah,
That was original.
Weird.
First
Didn't,
time
like,
It wasn't- it wasn't-
Didn't like one of them like literally explode?
Yeah. Like, if you get bitten by
Yeah.
its lice that follow them down into the tunnel, you get infected, and then you explode, and you have another one inside of you, so...
Then lice, alien lice.
Yeah.
That's shitty, man.
So I mean,
It's the worst kind.
it's definitely a black mark on J.J. Abrams, but
Yeah. Yeah, seems to be doing all right.
I don't think it slowed him down any.
No, it's true.
He was so broken up over the disaster that was Cloverfield that he immediately then went and turned Star Trek into Star Wars. That is how upset he was. He decided to ruin an entire franchise for everyone.
Oh, I don't think it's ruined at all.
I like it.
I like it as a fan fiction. It's consider this. Like I can only stomach because it's not Star Trek. It's not compare either of them to the best Star Trek movie of all time, Wrath of Khan.
I have, and I still like it.
They're good,
Yeah.
but they're not Star Trek.
They're
They're sci-fi
definitely-
action adventure.
Yeah, it's the difference between because a lot of Star Trek, for all its hokiness and campiness, they do base a lot of it in real science.
It's real science. It's social dilemmas.
Yeah.
It's
And
politics.
everybody magically forgets from episode to episode.
Yeah,
Nobody
well,
carries. There's no weight
and,
in the movie.
and reversing the polarity of the dilithium matrix is always like the last
thing they think
Yeah,
of,
it's
but
like-
it's the
it's
what's
always
worked
the
last
solution.
time.
yeah.
I would be the best engineer in Starfleet.
There's a problem. Just I got
Wait
this.
a
Reverse
second,
it.
I got this.
Reverse
Reverse
it.
the dilithium matrix.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's all good.
No,
But yeah,
anyway,
like,
The
I
Romulans
enjoyed
are
them.
invading.
I
Reverse
enjoyed them, but
dilithium matrix.
I consider them fan fiction. Like some guy in his basement wrote this fanfic of like, what if some crazy Romulan went back in time and fucked up the timeline? This is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that
that's
crazy guy in the basement is J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But the reason
That's his
the
point.
reason it doesn't bother me at all is because they splintered the timeline, which means honestly to me they can go do whatever the fuck they want.
Which-
because I can go
As
back
long-
and watch the originals.
As long as the originals don't, like, they go back and they could do an original Star Trek, like a TNG Star Trek TV show if they wanted to.
yeah,
nope.
They're not going to.
no,
They never will. Not now. The original universe is dead, for all
Are you-
intents and purposes.
well, it's not dead.
There
It
is-
just lives on in Star Trek Online.
like, dude, do you really think that the original universe is dead, or that it's going to come back in like 10 years When sure it will.
It's
When
gone.
the nostalgia hits.
You know why they can't though? Because of Enterprise. Because Enterprise did this little thing where they brought in these people from 600 years in the Star Trek Original Universe's future, called the Time Cops, who basically told them that no matter what happens, they will always go back in time and alter everything so that they get to their perfect universe at the end. And with that one written thing that is now part of canon, the entire universe is dead, because no matter what they do, it won't change the fact that they've gone so far ahead, 600, 700 years ahead, and these time cops say, we control the timeline, and nobody can go back and change anything ever, so you'll get to us eventually. So they've wrecked, there would be, if you went and tried to tell stories in that 600-year period between TNG and this future time cop universe, there would be no, could the Federation fall apart at any point? Because they can't. Because the time cops.
What about the Time Lords from 800
You know
years
nothing.
in their
What about the
future?
Time
You
Lords?
know nothing about Doctor Who. You are
Yeah,
about
I realized
you're
once
about
I
to-
said Time Lord that was actually a thing
I
from
tried
Doctor
to
Who.
tried to stay on the word
And,
time cop.
Yeah, so time peace officers
Yeah,
from 800 years in those time cops futures.
Yeah.
What about them? Maybe they're in their future the Federation is dissolved, so they're actually doing everything in their best interest. That's why I don't buy into that whole time cop thing. But
But that's what I'm saying. You couldn't, that's why the original universe is dead.
the reason the original universe is dead is because now they've made 2 extremely successful movies in this new universe.
Yeah.
And people, yes, there's a huge fandom of people like us,
Yeah.
and and many of our listeners that love the original Star Trek. Unfortunately, we have very little power over these things.
Yeah.
And when it's our love versus their giant sacks of money, it's giant sacks of money.
Well,
every time.
But I mean, what are they going to do? Putting Star Trek on TV is really a license to print money for them, or it was for about 15 years there. They by the end of Voyager, I was sick of it. I barely watched Enterprise at all. I was tired of Star Trek by that.
It got good.
Yeah. It was all right until they brought the time cops in. I really enjoyed it until that.
I
Honestly,
actually enjoyed the 3rd season where they had 3 episode arcs where you got about a movie worth of
That's cool.
of story over 3 episodes. I thought that was a great idea. I wish they had continued with that. I realize I'm in the minority.
I thought season 4 was amazing.
But just for argument's sake, we say 5 years from now, after there's been another 2 movies, one that does very well again, and the 4th one flops, because that's how it usually happens. You can't keep making Star Trek movies without them flopping, unless we've hit geek critical mass in Western society, in which case nothing will ever flop that's geeky. But if you have that, are they not going to take that and put it on TV again? And if they do, are they going to do TOS again, the original series, on TV in this new universe? And if they did, who the fuck would want to watch that?
So what will happen is...
He's looking into the future.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll make sound effects. You
Okay,
just
thank
keep
you.
looking.
I'm getting visions. What will happen is it will go back on TV. Okay, if it goes back on TV, what we'll see is it will be some portion of this Abrams verse of Star Trek. Okay, whether they do a continued adventures of Captain Kirk and his crew, or they take Anton Yelchin's character of Chekhov, because Anton Yelchin really isn't doing fuck all, and say
he's also youngest cast member.
Hey, okay, how's this? It's 10 years after the events of the last movie, and you're now captain of your own ship. You want to do it, Anton? And he'll say, yeah, okay. I've got nothing else going for me. And it'll be in that new Abrams verse. It won't be the original Star Trek.
And not only
universe.
that, it'll always be the fast-talking, slick, guns blazing, as opposed to the feel of the original
talk about
was.
this. think about this social dilemma.
Let's Picard this.
Yeah.
Well, and that brings up another. Would they do a next generation in this new?
Well, that's all entirely possible. My complaint.
Who would they have?
I don't give a
play
shit.
The counselor.
I don't give a shit. That's the thing, because it's all the Abramsverse, and the Abramsverse doesn't mean anything to me.
Abramsverse has boobs too.
It doesn't mean anything to me emotionally.
Fair.
It's guns and explosions, and it's fun, and it's enjoyable to watch.
Explosions.
Gunsplosions. Yeah, I think there was there not at least one phaser that just exploded
Probably
at some point in the last two films.
Makes sense.
But it's just guns and explosions.
Fair enough. Mostly, I was just really impressed with
the lens flare.
what's his face?
Benedict Cumberbatch playing.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
I just
Spoilers.
the acting job was like
He was great.
fantastic.
Like, considering that going into that movie, everyone said you could never, ever, ever do Ricardo Montalban's portrayal justice,
No, yeah.
and he did it. I mean, it's not in no way.
It's not Ricardo Montalban.
No, and it's not in any way better.
It's not
but
the original.
He
Kong.
justified.
It's a great fanfic.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's.
I like him better.
But anyway, the whole point of that was go
We're
see
gonna get
Pacific
fan mail. We're
Rim.
calling it a fanfic. I hope.
It's okay, you can write your hate mail to me. I don't give a shit. It's fan fiction.
No, that's
Okay,
fine. No.
by a guy, mind you, who doesn't even like Star Trek.
yeah.
Okay, J.J. Abrams
I'm still
went on
wondering how that
record
happened.
as saying he doesn't like Star Trek.
Does he like Star Wars?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, it's his favorite.
And he's doing the next Star
his
Wars.
goal was always to write Star Wars, so he tried to turn Star Trek into Star Wars.
I'm glad he didn't bring
Well, maybe
any
he'll
laser
step
swords.
out- maybe this will be the thing that steps him back, and they put somebody else
Who
in.
loves the franchise?
Yeah,
That'd be great.
they've already set a release date for the next Star Trek movie because they're putting it on the 50th anniversary of Star Trek in general. So the next movie's already been greenlighted and has a release date. They just don't have a story, cast, director.
I thought J.J. Abrams was going to do one
Nope.
more.
That'll
He
be
said he's
delayed,
done.
I predict.
Now that he has Star Wars,
Yeah.
he said he's completely
Yeah, so
done to Star
okay,
Trek.
Nice.
He's-
Thanks, buddy.
He's where he belongs.
Showing his love for the
Whoa,
franchise that
I
he
got the laser
stole.
swords. I'm out. It's been fun. Anyway, the whole point of all that was go see Pacific Rim this Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm
He'll be there.
definitely.
He'll be there.
My
Definitely.
friend Chappell reported back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear what he said?
No.
Does he give me any spoilers?
No.
Does he say it's bad?
No.
Okay.
He says, "Awesome. It was a lot of fun."
That's
Lame.
pretty vague.
You know what? How was sex? Awesome. It was a lot of fun.
That's not a bad thing. He said,
Oh,
it was,
no,
I
no,
asked
that's-
him, how was it? And he said, awesome! Exclamation point.
Oh, there's an exclamation point?
Yeah.
You didn't
You
mention that the
didn't
first
Okay,
time.
sorry. Awesome! It was a lot of fun.
Good.
On to the Week in Geek, because
We've
Is that still
we've
a
been
thing?
talking for a half hour here.
good
So I'm going to
derailing.
go on really quickly to the Week in Geek. You can follow along at geeksversusnerds.com/online magazine. Batman 66 launches. This is a motion comic that DC is putting out that is set in the 60s Batman universe. So they're going to be using the likenesses of
Yeah.
the people from the original.
Adam West and Burt Ward and
And all the villains.
Caesar
Romero.
Caesar Romero's the Joker.
As the Joker, and Julie Newmar as Catwoman.
yeah. Quick side note:
Though I would say that Eartha Kitt was my.
she was your
Yeah.
Catwoman.
Oh yeah, she was a lot more. She awakened thoughts in very young PigMonkey.
A quick side note about Caesar Romero: he actually refused to shave his mustache for the role of the Joker. So every once in a while, when the camera gets in close enough to his face, you can see this really cheesy mustache underneath the makeup, and it looks so horrible.
I wonder if they'll draw that into the comic.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Just faint lines.
I'm actually going to probably enjoy Batman 66.
So as a motion comic, are they gonna have voices? Because I know with the
I
Black
would-
Panther they did.
The article wasn't super clear. I don't
thought
know.
it just said digital comic.
Yeah, it's a digital comic. So
Well, yeah.
I think it's a motion comic as well.
Is it?
I'm not sure.
I didn't get that.
I might have misread it, but if you're gonna go online and make a digital comic, making a motion comic
Just makes sense.
is the next step.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's like a digital pop-up book, right?
But there's a lot of digital comics out there right now, like especially DC. DC's been really good.
Yeah,
like
with the new 52, they've got
Legends of the
nuts.
Dark Knight is released all the time, and then they cherry pick and put some of it into the print version. The Adventures of Superman is great. There's the Injustice digital comic that comes out every week.
Yeah.
You know,
The only digital comic, well, motion comic that I've seen was the Black Panther. Marvel did it 2 years ago, I think,
Yeah.
and it had voice actors. And whenever you flip the page, they even dropped word bubbles, and you just kind of had to pick out people's voices and stuff like that. And then they turned it into a TV series and put it on Netflix, which is really weird to see.
I don't really get the appeal of motion comic. Like, it's just not for me.
Speaking of Black Panther, it's actually been greenlit for
In the
development.
the Marvel movie verse.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's part of Phase 3, which is after Avengers 2.
Mm-hmm.
So in between Avengers 1 and 2, there's going to be Iron Man 3, which came out, Thor 2, Cap 2, and the TV series, Marvel's S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series, which goes into Avengers 2, and they've released the cast for Avengers 2. They're going to have Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver and a couple other characters. And then Phase 3... Oh, yeah, and Guardians of the Galaxy, which is part of Phase 2 as well.
And Ant-Man.
Yeah. Ant-Man's part of Phase 3. It's after Avengers 2.
Is it?
Yeah, it's got pushed back. But it's being directed by Edgar Wright, who did...
Which is dumb, because Pym was kind of
He was the founding
one
member.
of the central characters of the original Avengers.
Yeah.
He's also the hardest one to adapt to film, because Ant-Man is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, I
explain
love
to
Hank
people-
Pym, but Ant-Man is ridiculous.
It wouldn't...
Did you...
But
It's a hard
Sorry,
sell.
go ahead.
it would, like, for doing that, it wouldn't really be hard. You shrink him down, he punches somebody, he goes up, and it's constantly disappearing. It's like fighting the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
He
can
really,
also...
It's a really low budget special effect, really.
I kind of feel that with today's movie audiences, though, Ant-Man makes a better supporting character than a star of a movie.
But Ant-Man has always made a better supporting character.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
than-
I
like
think
he's never. But I don't know.
I think-
I really question what kind of story you can tell with Hank Pym.
Well, that's what I'm wondering too. Because what I would have loved to have seen is if the original Avengers, if Hank Pym was just on the Shield helicarrier and said, "Yeah, I kind of thought of the Avengers idea," and help them out a little bit, and then in the Avengers 2, maybe he's way more active as a character and important to the team, yada yada yada. But I think him starring in his own movie is a really bad idea.
He'll be.
I think it'll be good.
It'll be okay.
I can't find any complaints with the Marvel cinematic.
Well, so far, yeah, they've been spot on.
Yeah, and I trust Edgar Wright,
Yeah,
You know.
he's a really good director.
and the fact that he sought this out,
Yeah,
that to me speaks volumes.
yeah.
I think it'll be really good.
Yeah. Speaking of the comic book movies, also Marvel and I don't know who the other who's doing RoboCop. What
Sony.
studio's doing RoboCop?
Paramount?
Sony?
Is it? I thought it was.
Oh,
Sony.
Sony. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. So Thor, Cap from Marvel, and RoboCop and Spidey from
Sony.
have been. They've already announced that they're going to have all their trailers and their pre-releases at Comic-Con
This year, yeah.
which is they jumped the gun on everybody because Comic-Con hasn't really announced.
Oh, okay.
Everything.
So,
like we're gonna have this here.
yeah.
But
that was the studios themselves.
yeah, RoboCop, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, which really
Hey, go kids movies, man.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, Thor: Dark World, and Captain America: Winter Soldier.
I'm on board for that. I'm on board for that.
Depends. It depends on what Winter Soldier they use the writing for. If they use the most recent Winter Soldier, sure, but
They've released stills of him. He looks
It's
pretty
going to be
badass.
based on.
It's
all
Bucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's modern.
Yeah.
Are they going to be using the original Bucky, the guy who played
Yeah.
Bucky?
I
I
believe
think
so.
so.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
cool.
also Captain, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, I think.
Are going to be in it?
Is the
makes
main
sense.
cast. And they're bringing in the Falcon? Yeah, the Falcon.
If anybody's like curious about the Winter Soldier and stuff like that, like I really encourage people to read the past like 5-6 years run of Captain America. Like, I know that Winter Soldier stuff came before that and all that, but like right around the death of Captain America, I'd say start reading, because you really get a sense of who Bucky is, and you really learn a lot about his time as Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Brubaker did.
He replaces
amazing.
Cap, right?
Yeah.
He steps in for Cap.
Brubaker's run on Captain America after that was just phenomenal.
And
And
I
then he
think-
had the Winter Soldier not miniseries, but it only lasted like 17, 18 issues.
Yeah.
But Brubaker ended on issue 12 or 13, and anyway,
I still like, my favorite replacement for Cap was in a What If. It was the Punisher.
yeah.
Yeah, I
What if
thought
the
that was a
Punisher
great.
became
I thought that was a
Captain
great.
America?
What they did with the explanation they gave is like Cap got his limbs blown off in a fight and got robotic limbs, and he said, "I can't be Captain America anymore. I'm not human." And
Wow.
and they stepped aside, so the Shield went,
So
well, we don't have the super soldier anymore, so we need somebody who's naturally a super soldier. So they got, in this
Frank
What If, they
Castle.
got Punisher to wear the Cap uniform during the day, and during the night he just fucked off as the Punisher and went around killing people.
Stopped
and
sleeping.
Captain America going, you can't do that. It's like, I'm not interfering with brand image. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
And they actually finally stopped him because he was beating people to death with the shield.
It's the perfect weapon.
And then
Vibranium. It doesn't like have any recoil. You're
yeah,
just-
Right, yeah.
just
It's not going to bounce off those, really
see,
thick skulls.
that was all the what ifs. All the what ifs I ever bought was, what if the Punisher blank?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. This is to get
Sure.
just if Captain America's shield is vibranium, there's no
Vibranium alloy.
alloy,
Vibranium
yeah,
and
alloy.
adamantium.
Adamantium, yeah.
alloy.
But the whole shtick of it is it absorbs all impact, right?
Yeah.
How does he bounce it off things?
I don't
That
know.
makes no sense. Like, no sense.
It's a god.
I know, but still, it's always bothered me. It's like, no, it absorbs all impact. It's cool, and then he just dings it off things.
It absorbs impact when it's convenient.
Oh, I see.
It's an intelligent
when he throws
shield.
it, when Captain America throws the shield, he imparts in that shield all of the spirit of American
of
culture.
all America.
It's like the American dream.
So the
Yeah.
shield gets
And-
fat.
yeah.
Goes to
Yeah,
McDonald's.
flies into a McDonald's. And then
Fat
it
shield.
hits the enemy.
Right,
That
gotcha.
racist shield.
So it bounces because it's changing its pinion all the time?
Yes.
Is that what-
It's flip-flopping.
yeah, flip-flopping. That's cool. That's fine. That makes sense. I'll accept that as an
Yeah.
explanation.
So hold on a second, though.
Whoa.
In that what if story,
Okay.
I want to follow me here.
All right.
In that what if story, Captain America, arguably like the champion for all soldiers.
Yeah.
And-
Pinnacle human.
Yeah, he's somebody that soldiers especially will look up to.
Yeah.
He
He's the ideal.
loses his arms and legs and then gets artificial replacements.
Yep.
And then deems himself as not human.
Yes.
How do you think that might make war amputees or amputees in general feel? That is the most horrible thing I've ever heard.
Well, we're just going to
It is
discard
a
you
what
now.
if. It is a what if.
So what if Captain America was a douchebag?
No,
Yeah.
no. I'm thinking
More than usual.
more. What if war amps were not humans? We're not considered human beings.
They
We
had-
can.
I'm Asta. I'm a robot. I can put my arm.
You can't. So play safe. I remember that commercial.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to hell.
Maybe,
And not only that, a bunch of limbless veterans are going to show up at your house and beat
They're
you to
gonna
death.
send me there.
They're going to beat you to death
No,
with
I
artificial limbs.
I just can't believe that was like
Greenlit.
that passed the
Yeah.
editorial staff. Like, yeah, okay, yeah,
I
not
could see
human.
it.
Okay,
I could see it.
like
It's
wow.
it's a what if.
No, I
It's
know.
a random what if.
It's
I mean,
still
you'd have to be. What are they going to like? They can't kill him. They can't kill Captain America.
you can.
Sure they
it
can.
was the '90s. He was one of the only things that was keeping Marvel afloat. It's a what if, right? You could kill him.
I don't know.
But
I
I
think-
think they wanted to bring him back because at the end he's like, that's how they at the end of this comic, that's how they sort of brought Frank Castle into the Captain America world. Was Steve Rogers hunted him down and explained to him the error of his ways, and Frank Castle went,
I'm not a human anymore. You have to listen to me.
No, he brought him down and said, there are people relying on you, and Frank went, yeah, that totally covers the horrible destruction of my family at the hands of merciless gangsters. I'm gonna hang that up and be a good guy now. Thanks, Captain America. Oh, you're not Captain America now.
This would have been a better ending, is if Captain America said, like Steve Rogers had said, I understand completely. How about we just change places?
Yeah.
We pull like an Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd type shtick, where instead of swindling a couple of old rich people out of all their money,
we swindle
I just go and kill
America.
all the bad guys
with my
robotic non-human arms, and I won't. It doesn't matter anyway because I'm not even human anymore.
Laws don't apply to me anymore.
Just like mutants.
I can't be Captain America. Laws don't apply to me anymore.
I will punish everyone. That'd be a great reversal.
Or after he loses his arms and legs and gets robot arms and legs, he just starts inexplicably talking like a robot.
Yeah.
Why is he talking like that? I don't know. I am robot Steve Rogers.
I thought PigMonkey was going to say he hunted down the Punisher and held him down. He was like, a lot of people relying on you. I'm not one of them because I'm not human.
Or in the Whedon category of our podcast, because that seems to come up every podcast.
As it should.
Cabin in the Woods is being made into a ride at Universal Studios. Well, it's a maze at Universal Studios, but that will be a ride because you'll have to pay to go in there. It's going to be open at Universal Orlando on September 20th. They're building the cabin in woods. In order to go on the ride, you have to walk through the woods to the cabin and down into... That's what they're saying. They've built it. And the whole idea of the ride is that you are new staff members at the facility when the movie is going on. So you are there when all hell breaks loose and all the monsters get out. And that's the ride. You're being chased around by all the horrible creatures that mangled everybody during the movie.
That sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah. I just love to get sprayed by fake blood.
I find it odd that they've made this ride and stuff. I mean, because Cabin in the Woods is a huge success. But I just find it funny that it sat on a shelf for a couple years and couldn't get released and had to go through, Hollywood limbo.
But that's Whedon. I mean, he's got to fight for every single thing he does.
And he's always right.
and then... It's only, like, if it's a movie, it's okay. If it's a TV show,
it's gonna fall apart.
Yeah. 2 years.
Yeah.
If you're really, really lucky.
You get the Buffy treatment if you're lucky.
Well, Buffy was under threat of being canceled a few times.
Lots of times.
Well, it moved networks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then Angel.
Did Angel end or was it canceled?
It was sort of like canceled, and they ended it sort of on a whoop. What the hell happens? Then they put it in a comic afterwards, but I didn't read the comic. I liked it better with them facing down the legions of hell and being left it like that, and thought that they died heroic deaths. That's something that's missing.
Nobody
nowadays.
ever dies anymore.
Nobody dies heroic fucking deaths anymore in movies. You don't get Spock sacrificing himself in a reactor chamber. You don't get people like diving into a volcano to stop and save. There's no really cool deaths anymore for the sake of people. Okay, one final bit, actually two final bits, but the first one is the Lone Ranger just bombed. That's 2 in a row for Disney. I figure if they have 3 bombs in a row, we can just scratch them out as a company and redistribute all their rights among different companies.
But that's just it. They'll just stop making quote-unquote live-action Disney movies, and they're just going to start funding more Marvel movies, more Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
but this is what we've been talking about before.
Money.
They're just rebooting old stuff rather than get any new ideas.
As you know, I'm fine with them no longer doing movies like John Carter or Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Instead, take the $500 million that was spent, or almost $600 million that was spent on the two of those, and go and buy another property. The great thing is when Disney buys a property like Star Wars or Marvel Comics, they say, you know, we're going to put people in there to just let it make more money. Do everything that you're doing that's right.
Yeah.
Like with Marvel Comics, that's what they've straight up said, you know. Yeah, there have been a few changes, but here's some money.
Yeah.
Make more of it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm okay with that as a fan.
The scary thing, though, is those, like, Disney little kid sitcoms, like...
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
but that was before they owned Star Wars.
No, I thought that was recently.
No, that was
Detour?
a couple of years ago.
The Star Wars Detours?
No, this is a show on one of the Disney, like, little kid sitcoms they have on the Disney XD
and
channel or whatever.
C-3PO
They had C-3PO and R2-D2 and Chewbacca, was it? In an episode?
I didn't see Chewbacca.
They might have done it again then.
Okay, because a couple of years ago...
they did that in the 80s. It was called Droids.
A couple of years ago, there was, or at least, like, it was before they bought.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. There was, like, R2-D2 and C-3PO on a
probably when the prequels were coming out.
No, it was after that. It was like this. They went to George Lucas's house.
Oh, okay. In the show or whatever.
Yeah, to talk to him or something. And
Boba Fett was his gardener.
I wish.
Well, finally, sci-fi, in its ever-growing demand for bad movies. I mean, I love some. Sci-fi is one of the few sources of new B movies.
Yeah.
And I love some of these. And their new one is just awesome. It's called Sharknado. And if you don't have a basic grasp of merging words from the English language, it's the word shark and tornado put together. Sharknado. A tornado made entirely of sharks. It's a tornado that runs along the water and picks up sharks and then goes inland and launches sharks in every... It stars Tara Reid. So I'm looking forward to the idea of Tara Reid being bisected by... She's the big name.
But if she's starring in it, she won't die, though.
Well, no, because in sci-fi movies, they pay them for one day of filming, and they kill them off near the beginning, or so they don't have to pay them. It's a classic. No, it's a classic filming technique. You get two names. You only have to pay them like $500 for the day, and you do all your little scenes, like
little dialogue.
You get somebody famous to be the general in it, and you only ever see him on the phone and in one scene, right?
Yeah.
So they set him up, they put him in his uniform. He does like 7 scenes on a telephone and 1 scene with the characters, and that's it. That's all you see of him, but he starred in the movie.
I remember seeing Sharktopus when it came out, and it had Eric Roberts in it, who's Julia Roberts' brother, but he's just that. He was the bad guy in the first Expendables movie, and is that kind of considered the classic 80s movie villain. And so, that was the same thing where he's
remember the bad guy.
Julia Roberts' brother?
Yes.
I didn't know she had a brother.
Holy shit.
Did your brain just explode?
I can totally see it.
Right? Yeah. No, they have the same eyes. It's freaky. When they stand next to each other.
I don't know if you're fucking with me right now.
I'm not fucking with you. Anyway, but yeah, that was the same thing, same sort of thing. You know, they put the name in. He's in a few scenes of dialogue, but then the rest of the time, it's totally focused on somebody else. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to see Sharknado. I mean, I saw Sharktopus, but I got really drunk.
It sounds more like a C or a D movie as opposed to a B movie.
Yeah. Well, I guess. We haven't seen production value yet. I know.
Yeah.
Sharktopus.
I say that in a good way.
I don't know how good production value can be on something like Sharknado. It really, you could use real sharks, and it still wouldn't be a better movie.
Guillermo del Toro would use real sharks, though.
Well, that depends. Are the real sharks really eating Tara Reid?
No.
Reality,
because that would be a better movie.
Yes, that would.
I just want to encourage, I know not everybody's into comic books, but I know a lot of people are really upset with Superior Spider-Man right now.
Mm-hmm.
one, revisit it because it's actually getting pretty interesting. But there's a new book. It came out last week. It's called Superior Foes of Spider-Man. And it just centers on Boomerang and the new Sinister Six. Yeah.
Boomerang?
Yeah. The new Sinister Six. Right now there are only 5 members, I think.
Boomerang counts as 2.
Yeah.
Him and his
there's
boomerang.
There's Boomerang, Shocker, Speed Demon, the new Beetle.
Vulture?
No, he's in prison. He's locked up. And there's somebody else I can't. The one who drives the car. Anyway,
Shocker.
I can't remember. No,
Not that shocker.
not that shocker.
This shocker.
Anyway, it's actually really good, and people should check it out.
If people have dropped it, you just basically tell them to pick it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Superior Spider-Man, definitely check that out again. Yes, Peter Parker, I'm sure, will be back eventually, but just check out Superior Foes of Spider-Man because it's just an interesting view on the other side of the law.
There you go.
For crime.
Now that's a battle cry. For crime! That should be like the Sinister Six's battle cry.
That would be awesome.
Avengers assemble! For crime! I want to thank our guest, Sean.
Thank you.
And Josh.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
If you want to follow us at Classy Nads on Twitter and the Classy Nads podcast on Facebook. And you can also email us at classynads@gmail.com and find our links to our website. And we're also on iTunes. And we start season 2 in September.
Awesome.
So we'll probably have you guys back on
For sure.
our show.
You gotta get the background noise, guys.
Yeah, I do, actually. We're pretty busy, though. They're hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, well, I am your host, PigMonkey,
I'm your other host, Alex.
and that is the show.